Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to talk about an issue that has affected many individuals and even affected me when I was younger. When I was a little girl of about 6 or 7, I was walking home from school and my little friend Julie told me that something was sticking out of my backpack and she wanted me to stop so she could put it right back in and close my backpack. I thought Julie was a nice girl. However, when I came home, my mother and I discovered that little Julie had opened the glue in my backpack and poured it all over my books. That was one incident when my father said that Julie must have made a mistake. But the next time that on the playground Julie pushed me into a puddle, my father said I had to fight back. His suggestion was that I bite Julie's nose or kick her in the knee. Now, I will tell you that that did not work for me then, and it sure does not work for kids today. I often see parents write posts in parenting groups and ask others for help. And they will say things like, my Johnny was hit in the head in school and we just don't know what to do. Or my Jenny doesn't want to go back to school because something's happening there, but she won't tell me what it is. And there are two types of responses that I see from other parents. One says, tell little Johnny to fight back and punch, the bully in the face. Or it says, tell little Jenny to ignore all the comments made in her direction by the bully. And I will tell you, these responses, these possible solutions do not work. And so what I want to do today is discuss the possible solutions that will work. And if you find that this is something that is useful for you, please subscribe to my channel so that I can continue to share such information with you and we can all fight this together, because there's no reason that anybody should be victimized. Now, a lot of people think that bullying is a harmless phenomenon, and I'm here to tell you that it is not. It is not harmless. It affects every individual that is bullied. It kills their self-esteem, it kills their self-worth, and it makes them not want to go to school. Many assume that teasing and exclusion are part of normal childhood, and you'll often hear parents say, I went through that, and your sister went through that, and your dad went through that. And even if we all did, it doesn't mean that the children we are raising should go through that as well. We should maybe have the bullying stop with us. Now, I will say that bullying has negative consequences, but not just for the victim. It also has a great effect on the school environment and on the bullies themselves. Data shows that half of today's students will experience bullying. 81% of school-aged males and 72% of school-aged females will experience bullying. Guys, this is more than half. 14% of these students indicate that they experience severe reactions to the abuse, meaning they don't want to go to school, they fear for their life or their safety, or whatever it is they envision as their life and safety. They have nightmares. There are so many outcomes, and none of them should be happening. And the victims of bullying often show psychological distress, including poor social adjustment and isolation, which affect their ability to learn, since victims cannot learn in an ongoing climate of fear. Now, the school climate is also affected, and bystanders often fear becoming victims themselves, being seen as a snitch for turning to an adult, which is what we recommend to do, and experience feelings of guilt for not standing up for the victim, who may be their friend or someone in their class or even someone just in their school. But the bystanders are always affected as well, because we are automatically, I feel like, raised to protect others or to stand up for others, or that's what we're told to do in a school environment, but we don't have the skills needed to actually do that. And we'll cover that today. But also bullies are affected, and they are affected because they are at risk of having their behavior escalate. They are emotionally injured, and they are in danger of harsh punishment for their future actions unless we stop them now. In addition, children who bully are more likely to get into fights, vandalize property, drop out of high school, and engage in criminal activity as young adults. So what is bullying? For behavior to be considered bullying, it must have three specific elements. 1, it must be intended to harm. 2, it must be repetitive. And 3, it must have a difference of power between the bully and the victim, whether it's physical, social, or other. With that in mind, there are 3 types of bullying. One, we're very well aware of, which is physical bullying. It's kicking, hitting, and any form of violence towards another student. Verbal bullying is name-calling, teasing, verbal threats. But the one we often do not think about is relational bullying. And this is a form of social isolation that includes gossip, intentionally leaving students out of activities, spreading rumors, and other measures that seek to change peer groups. How often have you seen a specific child not invited to a birthday party? That is exclusion. Then there are rumors about that child at the party. Then all the kids return to school the following day and again exclude the child by talking about the said birthday party. Now, this is just the beginning. This is just a small example. Also, relational bullying is described as an attempt to inflict pain in such a manner that the bully makes it seem as though there has been no intention to hurt at all. Because with physical bullying, we can see bruises, we can see marks. With verbal bullying, we may hear them, we may observe it happening. But relational bullying is very difficult to observe and even more challenging to detect in victims. Counselors mistakenly interpret that a student has difficulty with friendships because of low self-esteem or shyness, when in fact the child may be being excluded by their bully. Now, there are 2 types of bullies. Not to say one is better than the other, but they sort of are. So there's the reactive aggression and there's the proactive aggression. Someone who applies reactive aggression is impulsive and it's unplanned. Their aggression is employed to relieve aggressors' frustration, anxiety, and fear. And after they are remorseful and their aggressive behavior is emotionally driven. Yet the proactive aggression is pre-planned and calculated, which is a lot scarier to me, that someone is actually planning to hurt another person. Their aggression is employed for aggressors' personal gain. They feel better when they attack someone. They do not feel remorse, and their behavior is intellectually driven. So, with that said, it's quite scary on everyone's side, so to speak, for the school, for the victim, for the bully. And so we want to look at good solutions. But before we do that, I want to look at the bad ones. So like I've told you, we often tell people to ignore the bully, right? Ignore their behavior. That doesn't work. We tell them to fight back. That often doesn't work. There's also the suggestion of bullying groups. And that means we're going to meet with all the bullies and we're going to, talk to them about their behavior. Doesn't work as well. And then there's peer mediation, where you have a student that possibly gets involved and provides support to the bully and the victim in resolving their issues. And that often doesn't work either, because we've often seen, these images in movies where you have, an adult or another student kind of say, hey guys, let's just all be friends. But that doesn't happen. It doesn't actually work. It may work at the moment, but then the minute we, see in the movies, the kids walk out of the office, they'll, have the bully turn to the victim and say, okay, I'm going to get you tomorrow. So many of these tactics actually aggravate the bully and cause their approach to strengthen. So what we want to do is we want to discuss better solutions. So first of all, we want to train all children to respond to insults with non-defensive questions. So if a bully makes a mean comment, we want the victim to respond and say, why would you want to say that? Or why would you want to tell me I'm ugly or dumb or fat and hurt my feelings? We want children to take karate lessons or martial arts to be able to defend themselves without attacking back. This is a great confidence builder. And what I find often is that children that are in karate or martial arts, they not only learn to be able to defend themselves, but they're part of a group. Karate and martial arts often have exercises in which you partake with other individuals in the group. So you build relationships. And children that build relationships anywhere are more confident. Children that find they work well with others, or they get along with their teacher in this particular program of karate or martial arts, all of that builds their confidence. And a confident child is more likely to not feel like the victim, or to be able to stand up for themselves in one way or another. Another possible solution is to report the bully to the administrator. And honestly, I would recommend doing this from the moment it happens, because the administrator should involve the teacher, the administrator themselves, and other possible administrators. There's assistant principals, there's deans, any individual that has more, experience and more time to deal with this, and parents and students. You also want to make sure to involve the parents of the victim and the bully, because they should both be aware of what's happening, since both the bully and the victim can have long-term effects of this behavior. In addition, these individuals can work together to possibly create soft circles or some sort of supportive groups for victims and bullies, after school programs, anything where they can support both individuals that are affected by this behavior. Now, we can also suggest as an additional solution for other students to get involved. And you could have students work together, so it could easily just not be one person, it could be multiple. So we could ask all children to, bundle up, to kind of get together and together respond to a bully. So several students could join together and say, we don't allow bullying in our school, or no one has the right to hurt someone, or cruelty is unacceptable here. They need to be direct and they need to be specific. And because children are often afraid of becoming victims themselves, and they're afraid to jump into a bullying situation that doesn't involve them, we could teach kids to stick together, and maybe a few of them get together and respond to the bully. Now, there's also an approach called problem-based learning, and it's an approach that has been used to address bullying. It increases awareness and knowledge of bullying, like I explained to you in this video today. A lot of people are not aware of how it works. A lot of parents don't know how it works. A lot of kids don't know, even if they're a victim or the bully. So we want to make sure they're aware and they know what it is. We also want to address bullying because it achieves parent and teacher involvement, and it teaches assertiveness skills. We know that problem-solving strategies and bullying, and we can do this in a group environment. We offer students a scenario and ask them to work together to resolve it. And all of a sudden, we're changing the dynamic of having students work against each other, so to speak, to having them work together to solve a problem. And all of a sudden, you have potential victims and potential bullies working together and finding solutions. Now, I mentioned bystanders, and I want to come back to them for a second, because bystanders can actually do a lot. One of the things they can do is avoid gossip, or just simply not repeat it. They can support victims in private. So even if they don't feel like they're prepared to jump in to a situation and publicly defend the victim, they can do so after the event takes place and just show the victim that they do have someone on their side. Also, bystanders can report bullying to an adult, whether it's a parent or a teacher, or if they walk into the principal's office. Any adult should be able to get the ball rolling, so to speak, on solving this issue. And last but not least, they can pull the bully aside and say, I don't think you're a cruel person, and you may not realize how much you're hurting Johnny. Or, cool it, man, get off of John's back. Any one of those responses would be appropriate, but also we can work with kids to develop their own response, whatever they feel comfortable saying. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if we identify their response in advance, when they witness bullying, they will be able to respond. So bullying is a huge issue and definitely must be addressed. But the only way we can address it is if we involve all stakeholders, inform them, and get them to protect not just themselves, but others as well. I thank you for your time, and I hope to see you soon. And don't forget to apply bullying strategies to reduce these occurrences altogether. Have a great day.